everyone, it's WHM Brickbros back with another video, and today we are going to be looking at my first mock video, actually. This is a mock of what I'm calling a First Order Special Forces transport. So, as you can see, it's a very similar model to a regular First Order troop transport kind of thing. But I decided to make it cooler and make it in black. And so I'm calling it a Special Forces. And today I'm just going to be, I'm going to take this all apart. I'll do a speed build of it. And then I'll talk about all the different features. And I'll go through each and everything that I did to get this to work. And so that's what you're going to get in this video. So if you would like to watch this, keep watching. If this doesn't sound interesting to you, you can go and watch another one of my videos. I believe I posted 4 so far. 2 of them are on improving Boba Fett's starship. Then I posted a longer one on improving Moff Gideon's light cruiser, where I did pretty much all of this. I did a lot of tiling, making this look a lot better, and then worked on that interior, if you don't remember that, if you watch my channel. And then I also messed around and it made some improvements to the Mandalorian Starfighter. So if you want to go back and watch some of those, I'll link my channel link down below, or you can just click on the little icon down below and it'll take you right to those videos. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the portion of the video where I'm going to take this all apart. I'll film that all in time-lapse, so let's get into it. Alright, so I've got everything taken apart now, and I have them, I guess you could say, sorted into bags. I just have them sorted into different sections that it's going to make it a lot easier to build. And you may be wondering how I plan to build this. Well, here's your answer. I decided when I built this mock to see if I could create a 3D model, and each time I did it, I could take a picture and create this instruction book. But the program I was using isn't great, and it's it's pretty hard to tell what everything is. And again, I'm not like a professional instruction maker, so it really is not very good. But I can pretty much tell what's going on, and they're starting to kind of fall apart because the staples don't go all the way through, especially on the second booklet, because I had to create 2, because it's pretty long. But I do have a 3 online digital copy, which is good to have. So I'm going to get into a time-lapse of building this. I am going to time myself, see how long it takes for anybody who likes to see that kind of thing. I know there's some of you out there. And just get into it. I'll start using the instructions just from the beginning. Bag 1, and you'll notice how I build it. And then after that, I'll go back into a regular video. And I will talk about the entire mock, show you all its different features, and get into different processes and different ways I built this. So without further ado, let's get into that timeline. Hey, so we're back. We just finished building the entire thing. And you may have noticed that I did have some extra pieces. Not exactly sure where these went and what I missed. I do know that some of these I ended up replacing in my collection because for whatever reason I couldn't find them, but they were just there all along. And then you may have noticed I never put on this door, and that's because I messed up the mechanical thing inside here, and I also thought it'd be a good way to show you how this works. It's a very simple mechanism, but it can break really easily. So, you may have noticed in the time lapse, it was probably pretty hard to see, but that these all go together, and then there's this thing which stops it, because otherwise, when you have the door and you hook it on, this thing will keep pulling out as this goes back, so that stops that from happening. But what will happen sometimes when you're putting it on is that it will pull out, and then you can't get it back together with a strong enough connection. So basically, it's just one long pole. Actually, it's multiple poles, but they're hooked together. And if you could get a really long pole, that'd be great because it would solve a lot of problems. But that doesn't really work, and I don't even have one. So this works. It's just not the greatest system. So then with the door, you've just got this, and this kind of thing comes out like that. And that can just stick in, but you have these extra joints, and this one's here is more for support because obviously it can't hook in. But if you hook it in, it's too rigid, so the door doesn't even this mechanism doesn't even work. But, as you can see now, when I pull this back, the door opens. It also stops the door from opening way too far. It is a little far, but if I bring it any more... Actually, I probably could bring it down some more to there. That... So that is maybe a better height right there. Sorry, you couldn't see that. But if you just adjust that, and then if you want to get it down, you just push it in. The problem is these can pop off. You just want to really make sure those are down, and then you just pull on it. Again, it can be finicky. And sometimes it'll get caught, and this has happened to me before when I built it. Like the first time, if I just reverse some of these pieces down here around, it won't get caught anymore, which is weird. And I can mess around with that, but let's get into all the details and some of the things I used to build this. And so I've already started to get into it, just showing you this mechanism. But while we're down here on the bottom side, you may notice that I have built some feet. So these guys hook on with these little contraptions right there. They just stick on and they don't fold up. I was gonna do folding up feet, but I realized I didn't have the right Technic pieces and enough of them. So I just tried this out, and it seems to work, and it blends in pretty nice. So even when it's in takeoff, it doesn't really show up that much. And it looks like it's meant to be there. You will notice that you do kind of see this Technic. And I might cover that up because I don't love the look of that. But we'll see where that gets to, and if I end up deciding I want to cover that up. And then, so you still have that sleek look. And then moving on to the front, if you put the roof on, which just hooks on with those two studs there and there. Oh, actually 4 total. 2 in the back and 2 in the front. Sometimes it can be a little finicky with the door and all. in the first time again, like right as you build this, like I've noticed that once I'm done building this, once I've messed around with it a little and like played around with it and gotten it lined up in a way a lot, it'll stay like that. And then I don't have to readjust every time. It's really easy to mess around with. So you've got a nice sleek look here. Again, you've got, see, go into the front. This is your front view. If you pull on the back piece, it will pull this door out. Again, it just did that thing again. And you can sort of fix it like that. But there you can notice I tried to fix that, but again, it's just coming down too far. But once it lands, so if you just push it in and just kind of let it release slowly. So you've got a nice interior look. I know the lighting's not great, so you can't really see in there, but I'll show you what that interior looks like in a second. And then just pushing on the back piece here raises the door, and then like that. And yeah, it can be a little finicky at first. And you just kind of got to get just the right thing and mess around with some of these bricks. I don't know. It's really strange the way that is. And then let's move on to this top part. You've got a little triangular shape. I just thought I'd add some detail. You do not have a turret here. I did not really want to add that. I just didn't love the way it looks. And then you've got this little space here that you can put like a gunner in or something like that. Really, it doesn't really matter too much who you put in there, but I like to put my gunners in because that seems like who would fly this kind of thing. Maybe it's a TIE fighter pilot, but I'll just take one of my first order gunners. And it is pretty cramped, so his blaster does usually fit, but usually I will just pop off this entire thing because it's not hooked on super well. And I would add more, and this could maybe be a little more sturdy, but the way it's done is that I want it to be this small. The arms have to be able to fit, so this can only hook on in the back, and with the big helmet of the first order gunners, actually pretty much any gunner in Star Wars, it is a little weird, and the helmet can mess things up, and you kind of have to like move it around to just the right position, and I mean, it's not perfect, and that's kind of a side effect of it. I do think a TIE fighter pilot fits in a little better, but you do basically get it down, and you've kind of got this nice look, which I like, where it's sloping up, and then you've kind of got more of a solid edge here. Alright, so moving on to these sides. These sides, you may notice in the video, you do have to pop this off, because otherwise that will pop off. Actually can come off completely. They're just two separate pieces. Again, and underneath, you have a lot of just different colored light gray and dark gray pieces. And that does show through on the interior. But, you know, I think it's fine. It's not a huge deal. I know it's not great. And you do kind of see it in the back, but again, it'd be hard to tile that kind of thing off on the interior too. I guess you could do that if you wanted to. I may try to do that in the future, but these are just two separate pieces on both sides, and they're just plates, and I added, we had some nice detail here, just some extra bricks, you know, make it interesting. And then you've got the little sloping up part right here, and then you have both thin kind of things that come off in the back. Those I really wanted to include because I felt like that was part of it, the ship in Star Wars, and that was kind of important. I mean, obviously it's not super noticeable if they're not on there, and they do pop off really easily. But it's also a matter of like getting it on just in the right spot. It can be kind of finicky. Again, it's not a Lego model, so it's not like perfected, but you do just kind of line that up. And this piece, the other problem is this thing is a little low, and I've just kind of jammed it on top because it's hooked in, so it's a teeny bit lower than it should be, and that kind of messes with things. In the end, it works, but it's not great. And again, it's like I don't have the exact pieces to make this work, and I was just kind of trying to work with what I had in this one. But you know, so you got. I do like the engines. I mean, I feel like they have a nice look. Legos are a little better, and each engine is a little different. These two cannot move. These two can, just because of the way it's laid out. And I may figure out a way to change that. And then again, you have that little knob in the back to operate the front door. And you've got the same exact thing on both sides. Some grates, you know, different kinds of things. Just adding some texture, so it just doesn't look so plain. Some lights up there in the front. Thought that was necessary. And then on the interior, you have the door. I have added, just so I've noticed that this thing would kind of flop down. This doesn't really hold it in place, but it does actually a decent job. These little I've put nozzles here. I'll pop them off. These like faucet kind of nozzles things, and I've just put them upside down in the thing on a clip, and they work great if you just had this little clip here on this, and they actually hold it up. But once you apply that force from the back piece pushing it down, they will kind of snap out. But you do want to kind of get them in the right position for the first time. Just get it lined up, and then every time after that they should work, because those things don't really get moved around a lot. Alright, so you'll notice on the inside you've got some red tiles just to add some nice look, and they really nicely contrast with the black. And you can probably fit, I think, 12 or 13 troopers. I think I fit 12 regular troops and then a commander. In what I'm using for my commanders right now is a snow trooper commander. And I've got some snow troopers, and I can fit 12 guys in there. So you can put 12 there, and then Captain Phasma. Then you've got these two doors that are just operated with. You can operate with your fingers, just from the top piece. That is one reason why there's nothing right here, so that those will fit underneath, because I didn't want to tile this up a whole nother level, because that would just raise it up too far, and I didn't want to do that. So you've kind of got the nice curved thing, and if you pull down the door like that, kind of a nice. So I like to just call that like the officers area, especially since this is special forces. Maybe Kylo Ren's back there, and you've got some nice detail. I'm gonna pop out. This is a separate piece. You just have to pull off all of these. You may have noticed in the time lapse, and I'll show you that piece. So you may notice I have some light tan underneath there. And again, you actually technically would see this bottom piece down here, but when it's in there, you're almost never, unless you're looking on it straight on from the front. I can get a good view of this with the door down, both doors open like that. You can actually sort of see it, but it's very, I don't even know if you can see it. It's very hard to see, and once it's all covered up, it's not something that draws your attention at all. So I thought it was fine since I cover it up completely. Then you notice I have added some poles, some grates, just to add some nice detail in the back. And this is just all a separate piece. And then this thing hooks on, and I did have another control panel, but I'm using it somewhere else. I don't know where, but there would be another one that could hook on. I have an order coming with a bunch of control panels, because I need a lot of those. And that'll just go right there. And so it's just kind of like an extra little area for maybe commander or whoever. And that allows them to just have the extra space. So that part is that. This thing keeps falling off again. The engines in the back will want to move around a little. And then I've just got some places. These don't really hook on very well, but I like it better than having nothing there. Just tile it off, and this blends in so nicely. There is a little lip, but I like that lip, and that gives it a really nice look. And then you can close these doors manually with your hands. There's not really another way to do it. I mean, maybe you could get some motors in there, but it'd be really hard, and there's not really like a track that would allow you. Maybe, but, you know, that's not my goal in this. And you just have, like, that nice door, I guess, in the back. I think that turned out pretty nicely. And here, if you want to see this, these can open. So you basically, again, you put your fingers on top and just slide it. They do kind of want to tilt, but, you know, you can suffice for that. So that's that for the interior. Again, I think one of the most important things was fitting a lot of troops, because even though they're not special forces, even though I'm calling this a special forces, you know, Lego hasn't made any special forces kind of thing, but, you know, maybe they're not different, but maybe they're still special forces. Fitting 12 troops was important to me. Unlike the Lego one that they came out with, that one was gray, so it's just a regular one. It only fit, I think, 4, maybe 5, 5 including Phasma troopers, and that was really bad, and I wanted to have that extra space, so that was really nice to be able to have that. And overall, this just has a really nice sleek look. You can pick it up and fly it around. It's very sturdy, again, because it's just mostly like regular bricks, and then you add a lot of extra texture. Only parts that can be kind of finicky are this door thing. And again, you can get that to work after, I'd say, a couple times of playing with it or messing around with it. And then just, like, these things back here. And those are going to continue to fall off a lot. And that's just kind of the way they are. Maybe what you could do is, instead of these, you could use, like, oneers. Like, oneers that are the opposite of the clip. That may help it. But again, it's not really meant to necessarily for those, like, it's not that big a video if that kind of pops off. It's really easy to put back on. So that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, leave a like down below, and subscribe. Again, I will link the rest of my videos, the link to the rest of my videos in the description below. And thanks for watching. This is WH and Brick Bros signing off.